Every day in the streets, I would hear the exact same thing. مشاكة. Why don't you brush your hair?
مستبدرهم.
مش طب درهم.
مفرقع قنبلة.
برطال. رمانة وبرطال. Hello everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Hespress English's Spill the Tea podcast. Today, joining me is a very special guest who's going to be spilling the tea on all things curly hair. Siham, welcome.
Hi.
Would you like me to call you naturally, Siham?
No, Siam is good.
Siham is good. Okay, we'll stick to it. So, Siham is a curly hair stylist. You have been doing this for 7 years now.
Yes.
You have your own salon.
Mm-hmm.
But you started out working out of a room in your house. How was that like in the beginning?
So it all started back in 2017, indeed, with a Facebook group where we shared our curly hair journey and tips. I still remember my first client that came to me. She came for a big shop. And I was super nervous at first because she brought her mom along to watch.
You had an audience.
Yeah, but the result was beautiful, and seeing her happiness and confidence boost made me fall in love with helping others. And working from home at first, it was very enjoyable because I lived with my parents at the time when I had no bills. However, when COVID hit and I moved out, it was very challenging for me to bring clients into my home while managing health risks. Also, the biggest challenge was when I had my daughter. I had to take a lot of breaks to breastfeed her, and even sometimes I had to work with her on my back. So that was very tough
for me. The true definition of a working mom.
Yes, exactly.
Quite literally.
That was very tough for me, but I think it shaped my resilience and dedication.
So you did that for how long before you opened your salon?
Around 6 years.
Okay. Well, you said you fell in love with the job helping people. I'm going to tell my own little story about how I actually found out about you.
Sure, go ahead.
She's actually my hairstylist. I had never been satisfied with a haircut. Ever. My entire life, I would go to a salon, ask for a certain haircut, and it would not come out right. Especially since I've always had my natural hair, I wouldn't straighten it. Yeah. And I just realized that normal hair salons in Morocco don't really know how to deal with curly hair, don't know how to cut it. And around 2021, I had had enough. I was done. I needed a haircut. So I just went on social media and I looked up curly hairstylist Morocco, and your page showed up.
Oh.
And it was like a light at the end of the tunnel. And the first time you cut my hair, I was obsessed. I was like, this is it. This is the person who's going to be cutting my hair for the rest of my life as long as I'm here.
I'm happy to hear that.
So I'm assuming that social media played a big part in bringing up your business, since you said it started out on a Facebook group.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you started engaging on social media with curly hair content?
Okay, so at first I had around 6,000 followers. I think over 2 years, it was a very slow grow. But again, when COVID hit, I had plenty of time to create content.
Didn't we all?
Right? So that helped me to increase my followers to 10K. And that was a huge milestone for me. So it motivated me to create even more content. And that's how I engaged with my clients.
That's beautiful. I love that. What about your own curly hair journey? When did you start embracing your curly hair?
That's quite a story. I had my first chemical treatment when I was 6.
Oola.
Yeah. And I really loved my long straight hair at the time because I only received compliments when my hair was straight. And I continued to treat it chemically throughout my teenage years, completely hating and hiding my natural hair. I even skipped school on days my dad couldn't afford my hairdresser appointments.
No, this is so sad. It's such a common story. That's the sad part.
I hear that a lot too. Yeah. But the shift happened when I was living in the UK. Everything was expensive that I had to do a flat iron myself, which took me 2 hours and left the root top very puffy.
Oh, I know exactly what you're
Yeah,
talking
right.
about.
But then one day, I found out a video of a YouTube girl. She shared her journey, how to embrace her curls and stuff. And when I learned that scissors were the solution, that inspired me to go and buy a pair myself. And I did a big shop on myself the very next day.
So to clarify, a big chop
Oh,
is
cutting off all the damage.
it can be up to here.
Yeah.
It can resemble a buzz cut. It can
Yeah, anything. A big shop is cutting a huge amount of
okay.
hair.
And your first big chop was on yourself.
Yes.
How did it come out?
It was beautiful. But then when I posted a photo of it on Instagram, I received many calls from my mom, brother telling me to remove that photo.
Are you okay?
Yeah, right.
What happened?
They told me to remove that photo because it was just disturbing to them, but I really loved my hair.
Oh my god. I can imagine what they must have felt like for the first
like,
time.
is she okay? Is she depressed?
They were worried. So that was your curly hair journey, and throughout the years, eventually you started doing the same thing for other people.
Exactly.
Do you remember the moment things like started to take off for you in the business?
On business wise,
Yeah.
I think the moment I took it serious and I did it full time, because at first when I started back in 2017, I only did it in weekends or because I had another regular job.
Yeah.
So I only did it whenever I'm free. It was never serious, but once I took it serious, because when I had my daughter, I quit my job and I had to stay home. But then I was almost gonna have baby blues. I was almost gonna be depressed, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to hair cutting and stuff, just to meet people and talk and do what I love. So once I took it serious and I did it full time, it really worked out for me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It helped you move on from the baby blues, like you
Yes,
said.
a lot.
Amazing.
A
I
lot.
wish a lot of new moms would do that. Do something that would distract them.
I think they do. I think I heard a lot of stories of moms who quit their job and started to do something they love because they are forced to stay home to take care of the baby. So they try to find
an outlet to actually do something that you enjoy that's not baby related.
Exactly.
I love that. So eventually, I think it was this year, right? In 2024 when you opened your salon?
Last year, yeah.
It was in 2023.
Yeah.
How did you manage the transition? Because I imagine working out of a room in your house, in the comfort of your home, as opposed to having an entire place that you have to pay for, that you have to manage.
It was huge. The transition, it was not very easy, but it was enjoyable. I had to work only half days to oversee the new location, and I had to coordinate with plumbers, technicians, and delivery teams for the very first time as an experience. I also did some drilling myself, which I'm very proud of.
You got your hands dirty.
Yeah, exactly. It took around 2 months to make the studio completely official and ready. And building my studio was very fulfilling experience.
I can imagine. But I'm sure that you had some challenges while you were trying to build it.
Actually, the challenge was everything was ready. I planned everything, but the challenge it was when the studio was ready. I realized that I forgot to buy the AC, and it was summertime, and it was very hot. And also, I realized that I ran out of savings. So
So you had to manage that somehow.
I had to borrow money from my brother. And after I got it in cash, I went to Casablanca, to Quesaria, to buy it. And I got robbed by two guys on a motorbike.
No way.
Yes. But thankfully, I think around 3 minutes after I paid for the AC. So.
Oh, well, at least you got your thing.
Yeah.
At least you got what you came for.
Yeah, it was very tough event, but I guess, I just accepted it and moved on.
Okay. That was the only challenge?
Yes.
Well, you know what?
Everything else was fun.
I feel like a little robbery at the end of everything. Just
right?
to not feel like everything was super easy.
Right? Yeah.
So, since you started doing this throughout your years working as a curly hairstylist, did you notice a steady rise in awareness about curly hair in Morocco?
Yeah, a huge one. Yeah. People are embracing more and more their natural hair.
Hmm.
I think because before they couldn't see an example to, like in the streets and stuff, everyone was had their hair straight.
Hmm.
But now they see more people embracing their hair. So it gives them, they get inspired and it gives them a motivation
Mm.
to do the same. And also the group that I talked to you earlier, I think it played a huge role in inspiring other
Does it still
people.
exist?
Yeah, it
What is it
does.
called?
Curly Moroccan girls.
Love it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna join.
yeah. It's not that good anymore.
Oh, now that the information is out there,
Yeah,
it's not.
right. Yeah.
The thing is, growing up, like I told you, I've always just either had a buzz cut or my hair was curly. Of course, I didn't know how to manage it. My mom didn't know how to manage it, so it was a hassle. But at a certain point in high school, I kind of figured it out a little. Not the way I did right now, but I figured it out a little. And every day in the streets, I would hear the exact same thing. Mshekka, why don't you brush your hair?
مستبدلهم.
مش طبدرهم.
مفرقعكم بولا.
برطال رمانة وبرطال. I have heard the same things every single day, but recently, these past years, I noticed that it's not as usual. It's not a usual occurrence anymore. I noticed that I've been seeing a lot more girls with their curly hair.
Even boys, because those boys who used to say these things now are trying to have curly hair as well. I receive many DMs of
Mm.
boys asking how to
I
take care
have a
of their
lot
hair.
of guy friends who ask if you do
I do.
hair for guys.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Amazing. They're going to be so happy. um, how do you think we can convince people who haven't reached this level of acceptance and of love of their natural hair to make the switch? Because I have a lot of friends who find curly hair super daunting and they straighten their hair every time, even if they do want to start transitioning. It seems like such a big task for them. How do you think you can convince people about that?
I think that the transition is very hard.
Mm.
It can determine whether the journey goes well or bad.
Mm.
And I have convinced a lot of my clients that came only to cut a few inches to remove the damage,
Mm-hmm.
and they never regretted it. However, I think the challenge lies often on women who um, care about other people's opinion,
Mm.
especially those of a husband, a mother, or even workplace.
Mm.
And that trap them kind of in that transition, and which leads, they stay like in that transition phase longer than necessary,
Mm.
which leads them to go back again
Straighten their hair.
to straighten their hair. So I think it's either cut it off or just wait until you're ready.
So scissors are your best friend,
Yes,
basically.
yes, they are the solution.
You heard it here. Cut your hair. Get a big chop, and your hair will be beautiful. What are some mistakes, since we're speaking about transitions and people who are only beginning to accept their curly hair? What are some common mistakes that you see people doing in the beginning of their curly hair journey?
Common mistakes would be, I see this a lot on social media, and also a lot of my clients tell me that they do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that dividing the hair and using the leave-in conditioner on each section,
Mm.
and at the end they would scrunch their hair with the gel. So that's gonna leave the hair very heavy
Mm-hmm.
because of the amount of the leave-in that's been used, and also it's gonna let it frizzy because the gel was not used, and scrunching only with it doesn't count.
When you scrunch with gel, I think you're just creating frizz at that point.
Yeah, I think, and also it's not enough gel because with the perfect styling, the gel is used more than the leave-in, so the amount should be a lot.
Okay.
So that's not enough.
Less leave-in, more gel.
Exactly.
So to clarify for our listeners and our viewers, a leave-in conditioner, what is that?
It's a cream that you put on your hair and you don't have to rinse it out, and that's gonna help your hair to have more hydration in it.
And the more hydrated the hair, the better the curls.
Of course, because curly hair is very dry at its natural state, so it has to have that hydration or moisture in it to look beautiful.
So let's break down some of the products and terminology that's related to curly hair. Big chop, we already explained it.
Mhm.
Leave-in conditioner, we already explained it. What about the brushes? There are so many types of brushes. A detangling brush, a Denman brush. What
All
does
the
a girl
names.
need?
Well, I think it's just for marketing. I don't
Mm.
think, but although the brush that we use in Morocco, the dirham,
Mm.
that's gonna serve the purpose in styling, but not in detangling.
It's very
Because,
rough.
yes,
Mm. And
in detangling, you must have either a wet brush, which moves with the bristles, they move with the
they're
hair.
soft.
Yeah,
Mm.
they're soft. Or you can just use a white tooth comb, but the one dirham brush that we use, you can have it in a styling, and it's gonna give beautiful curls as well.
I should try that. I've never tried that
I've never
actually.
tried it as well.
Okay, so we talked about brushes. What are some other words that might seem scary for someone who's still like trying to do their
Yeah, I
transition?
think microfiber towels. A lot of people still use either t-shirts or a cotton towel or
Mm-hmm.
any towel. Also, sleeping with a satin bonnet or
Mm.
pillowcase. That some people think it's just like just marketing and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
it plays a huge role in
I
keeping
can
the hair.
attest to that.
Yeah,
Satin pillowcase, satin bonnet. It's gonna keep the curls in their place. It's gonna
soft.
reduce the frizz. It's going
Yes.
to help.
Yeah.
Speaking of frizz, my mortal enemy. Living where I do, it's super humid here, and I feel like a lot of curly haired people in general, whether they're girls or boys, they tend to struggle with controlling the frizz. How would you what would you recommend to be done?
Well, I would say if your problem is the frizz, then the gel would be your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I'm gonna spill the tea here.
That's what we're here for, girl.
uh, so for perfect styling, you must use a lot of water because water is the first element for
Mm-hmm.
hydration. And then you're gonna have to use just like minimize the leave-in conditioner. Use just a little, and then use a lot of gel on each section. That's gonna help with the frizz.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you have to do a microfiber towel and scrunch with it to remove the excess water.
After you use the products,
Yes,
isn't that
after.
going to get rid of some of the products in
No,
your hair?
because it's a microfiber towel.
Okay, so
That
it's only going to absorb water.
Yeah, just the excess of
Okay.
water and products as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what happens a lot, and that's a mistake, is when people are using the diffuser, they wouldn't scrunch first with the towel, and that's gonna create frizz.
Okay, so for our listeners, a diffuser is an attachment that you use on a blow dryer. It's the wide attachment, the round wide
That
attachment with the
diffuses
teeth
the.
thingies.
Mm,
Why do we use that to begin with?
be-
As opposed to just like drying your hair with
No,
a normal
because
blow
it
dryer?
has these mini dots and
Mm-hmm.
it diffuses the air, and that's how you're not gonna get the frizz because the normal traditional one, it just blows directly and it's very harsh for
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
hair.
So to fight off frizz, water, gel, microfiber towel, and a diffuser.
And diffuser. But in the use of diffuser, you have to set it on high speed and high heat, and just do it from very not far, but don't touch the hair until the gel sets on
Mm.
top, and
Until
then
you
you
get that
can.
little carton feeling in your gel,
Exactly,
in your hair.
yes, yes, and then you can put the diffuser on the hair. But many
That's what we
people
call
just start.
pixie diffusing, right? When you start scrunching basically with the
Yes,
diffuser.
yeah.
Okay. And how do we finish off?
Before it's 100% dry, you just put 1 drop or 2 drops of oil or
Mm-hmm.
serum,
Mm-hmm.
and just scrunch off the cast of the gel,
Mm-hmm.
and that's gonna leave you with beautiful soft curls.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Now let's discuss more products. I have noticed that, first of all, a lot of affordable drugstore brands are starting to put out more and launch more curly hair lines of their products, like slowly but surely. Some very known brands are also more present in Morocco. I remember back in the day, you would struggle to actually find certain brands, but now any makeup store that you walk into will have a specific brand that a curly girl knows.
Yeah.
Every curly girl knows.
Yeah.
And we also have Moroccan brands that are slowly
Thankfully.
becoming like much more popular. Can you talk to us about some of those products and what to use, what to avoid?
Should we?
Just lightly.
Okay.
More, it's more about the ingredients of the products, not the actual products, if
Oh,
you're aware of
yeah.
that.
Actually, for the ingredients, I'm not very scientific. But what I would say to avoid is in shampoos, you should avoid sulfates.
Mm-hmm.
But there is good sulfates that you can use, and that's used mostly in clarifying shampoos. So once a week, you should use shampoos that don't have sulfates, which is curly hair friendly.
Mm-hmm.
But once a month, you must clarify your hair to remove all the buildup and dirt and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like to reset the hair from the products and to help it gain its moisture back.
So sulfates basically, as a component, they strip the hair.
They're very harsh.
They're harsh and they strip the hair. They strip all of the oils, all of the dirt,
Everything.
the leftover products on your scalp, so that
Yes.
you can have fresh new hair to start with.
Yes.
Okay.
Before we used to use that weekly, and that's very harsh for us because, as I said, curly hair is very dry, so we don't have to make it even more dry.
Okay.
So if we use it only once a month, that's gonna be good. Also, for another ingredient, that would be silicone.
Mm-hmm.
Silicone in the hair, it feels very soft. You can find it mostly in conditioners. And the more you wash, the more soft it feels. It's like you didn't wash your hair.
Yeah.
And that's like a wax on top of the hair strand. And that's gonna prevent anything from coming. Like if you put a leave-in conditioner, you're still gonna have a frizzy hair because that silicone was on top and it didn't let the
Okay.
leave-in go in.
Okay.
That's why it's not good to use it.
So avoiding sulfates, avoiding silicones. What about favorable ingredients that we want in our products? For example, the age-old product that ever since I was a child, everybody would be like, "Yeah, use this product, coconut oil." Is it a good one or is it a bad one?
Yeah.
This is very controversial.
I think a lot of people want to use coconut oil. Coconut oil is not meant for everyone. Well, at least not for high porosity hair because it has some protein in it and it can even damage the hair if you use it a lot.
Okay,
so it's not for everyone.
To clarify again, high porosity versus low porosity, it's how much your hair accepts moisture, how much it can take in like water and moisture.
Exactly.
As opposed to low porosity, which takes some time to actually get wet and to actually absorb the products, right?
Exactly. With low porosity, it's, I would say, just picture it as doors.
Mm-hmm.
The doors are closed to the strand, so nothing goes in. Even water, it can't go in. So you have to help those doors to open. That's gonna help it with the steam. When you're showering, the steam helps the cuticle to open, and that's when you put a deep conditioning or maybe even styling. You can start with styling in the shower with the leave-in, and then just to help the hair get moisturized if you have low porosity hair, and then once you're out the shower, you can then proceed with the gel.
Okay.
But for high porosity, it's quite the opposite. The doors are always open, so the moisture goes in very quickly, but then it also goes out
very quickly.
That's how you have to seal in with an oil or a serum at last. So it's gonna shut off all the.
So going back to coconut oil, low porosity hair should not use coconut oil. High porosity hair, it's fine. They can
high
use
porosity or even normal porosity.
Okay, they can use but how much coconut oil? Because I see a lot of people using ungodly amounts of oil in general, whether it's coconut or a different oil. Is that healthy for your hair?
No, it's not. I think oils, they should be used only pre-poo, and like we call it pre-poo because you use it before the shower, and oils must be washed with shampoo. I tell a lot of my clients to stop using oils and just to stick with deep conditionings instead, because if you don't know how to properly wash your hair after using oil, then it's gonna help the hair
stay there.
Yeah, it's gonna stay there, and it's gonna make the hair fall because the oil stayed in the hair for too long.
So the only time we actually do need to use oil after the styling, it's to seal that moisture in.
And it should be only light oils, like
in a small quantity.
No, yes, 1 drop or two,
Mm-hmm.
but the oil itself should be very light, like grapeseed oil or
Mm-hmm.
almond oil. Not
Okay.
some people try to use coconut oil or no, that's very thick.
Okay. Okay. I see. And what about the different types of curly hair? Because people tend to think that curly hair is curly hair and you can do the same thing to all types of curly hair,
No.
whereas there's low porosity, high porosity. How can we identify first what type of curly hair that we have and how can we proceed to treating it with how it's supposed to be treated?
Uh, that's true with curly hair types.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, let's say they have type 4 hair and that's an afro hair.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come to me, they're like, okay, I want to show you what I want and I want this. And that girl has type 3 hair. And I'm like, no, we're here to embrace what God have gifted you with.
Mm-hmm.
So the hair type we can never change unless it was chemically, but we're against that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you have a type of hair, you're gonna stay with that type forever.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, let's say, 3 types of hair. The first one, we don't talk about it because
Straight
it's
hair.
straight hair.
Yeah.
The second type, and that would be type 2, it's wavy hair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, and number 3 is curly hair. Number 4 is coily hair.
Okay.
And all the types we have A, B, C, and those A, B, C is it describes how the curl, whether it's big or medium
Mm-hmm.
or
Or
small.
tight. Mm.
Yeah. So, for example, I have three C hair, and you have,
I could never define what I
yeah,
have.
I think you have a mixture of 3A and 3B.
Okay, okay. But sometimes it changes depending on how long my hair is and how short it
Yes,
is. It's
yes,
very
because it
weird.
weighs down. Once
Yeah.
the hair is long, it weighs down the curls, and they may seem like wavy or just bigger curls.
I see. And are there different like methods to use with each hair type, or can we just go with the normal steps that we do for all of
I
them?
think it depends on the goal,
Mm.
the result that you want. So let's say if well, I have 2 types of clients: those who love volume, and the ones that hate volume and they just want definition.
Mm.
So if you want definition, obviously you must use more quantity of the leave-in and gel to maintain that definition. As for the volume, you have to use just to minimize the quantity so you will have more puffy hair.
Okay. Okay, so to finish off, um, brush styling versus finger coiling. Where do you stand?
Obviously brush styling, because
Thank you.
because the brush styling, it gives it shows the natural curls that you have. We
Mm.
don't try to control the curl, but in front I like to use finger coiling just because it's in the front area and it has to be perfect.
So not everything needs to be finger coiled.
No,
Amazing.
it doesn't
I love
have to
that.
be perfect.
I love that. So, what's your advice for anyone starting a new business, whether it's hairstyling or whatever, as someone who just recently underwent that entire process? What would you advise people?
I would say I'm still navigating my own journey.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hesitant to give an advice, but what I would say is work hard, believe in yourself and your dreams, and mostly invest in your growth. As long as you're doing something you love and enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
success will come eventually.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So, to remind our listeners and our viewers, at Naturally Sihem, anywhere you
In
can find her.
Mohammedia.
And she's in Mohammedia, so if you need a big chop,
Come to me.
she's right there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
It
you
was
for
a
having
pleasure
me.
having you.
Same here.
And to my viewers, thank you so much for watching us. Tune in next time for another episode. And don't forget to write in the comments what you would like us to talk about on Spill the Tea. Bye.